I want to take a statement that President Joe Biden made over the weekend about the timing of the October 7th terrorist attack that Hamas pulled in Israel to talk a little bit more broadly about this particular issue of the timing and the cause, because I think it's important to understand this stuff. I have not seen this discussed very much in the sort of circles in which I run. Admittedly, I don't watch any shows that are like mine, but at least anecdotally from what people write in and say, hey, they're talking about this, they're talking about that elsewhere, I've not seen this sort of discussed. And this all has to do with what was going on in the region, in the Middle East, on and leading up to October 7th, that would have made Hamas more interested in carrying out an attack. Let's listen to what Joe Biden said over the weekend, and then we're going to talk about it.
I cannot prove what I'm about to say, but I believe one of the reasons why Hamas struck when they did was they knew that I was working very closely with the Saudis and others in the region to bring peace to the region by having recognition of Israel and Israel's right to exist.
Now, you can have any opinion you want about Israel's right to exist or whether Biden would be a credible arbiter of normalization of relations in the Middle East. This isn't about what anyone's opinion is. This is about understanding a sort of structural reality that was happening at the time. The US government had been more focused on reinvigorating the peace process, and a big part of the peace process is relations between Israel and other countries in the Middle East. And when you look at Qatar, Iran, Russia, and the other players that support the terrorist group Hamas, they benefit from the more fractured relations are with Israel in the Middle East, for example, between Israel and Saudi Arabia, as an example, the better it is for them, insofar as it generates an environment in which their hostilities will be, you don't necessarily want to say more supported, but less opposed. And in general, it's a better framework in which groups like Hamas, through Qatar, Iran, Russia, can operate. Joe Biden's efforts here, especially in working with Saudi Arabia, but other regional players as well, were a continuation of something that the Trump administration tried to do with Jared Kushner. Jared Kushner very dishonestly overstates the degree to which he succeeded and to the degree to which he was involved in a lot of that. But Biden has tried to continue some of this normalization of relationships. And a lot of this has to do with getting Arab states to recognize Israel, number one, and then number two, say, we will establish diplomatic relations. It doesn't mean that you are allies. It's important to understand this, but it is still a geopolitical shift to have a country say, hey, we used to not even say, oh, we are aware of Israel as a country. Fine. We now are aware of Israel as a country. We are willing to engage in diplomatic contact. We're not allies. If Arab states recognize Israel in this way and normalize relations in this way, it's terrible for the extremists because their radical views fall further out of favor and they increasingly become outliers. Saying we want to destroy Israel is less extreme if there's a bunch of Arab states that, while they don't say we want to destroy Israel, they don't recognize Israel's existence. We're talking in shades of gray here. And so when these relations become normalized, it puts Hamas's view further on the fringes. And so when you have progress towards regional peace of any kind, when countries recognize Israel's right to exist, it is likely perceived by Hamas as a threat to their objectives, as a threat to their ideology. Now, you'll notice nowhere in here, because the brain rot on this stuff has gotten really bad, nowhere in here am I defending the killing of Palestinian children. Nowhere in here am I defending Israeli settlements in the West Bank. We're talking about geopolitics here. I hope people understand that. And so what we would see as these relations push towards normalization is that those in the area willing to do violence to interrupt that will be more incentivized to do that violence. Iran supports Hamas, so also Iran would not want to see relations normalized between Israel and other Middle East countries. Russia supports Iran, which also supports Hamas. So Russia would also not want to see such normalization of relations. So that picture starts to become clear. This doesn't mean anything Israel does is or isn't okay, or it doesn't address proportionality or bombs or anything like that. What we are talking about here is that by launching an attack on October 7th, at a time when there are notable peace efforts, such as those described by Joe Biden in that statement, Hamas's timing would realistically be to disrupt that effort, to draw attention to their cause, to express their opposition to the way that those regional dynamics are taking place, and also to generate enough chaos that those discussions around normalization are put on pause. An important aspect of this to understand, it doesn't touch so many of the other elements of this, but when we talk about why October 7, it's an important consideration to make. I'm glad that Joe Biden brought it up. I don't know how many people are listening and interested in considering that, but I think it's worthy of some discussion. We've done it, and now we can move on after the break to other elements of this. So I wrote another book for kids. The first book was Think Like a Detective. The point of the first book was to teach kids critical thinking, which Republicans don't want them to learn, because when kids learn critical thinking, they don't vote for Republicans. The new book is Think Like a Scientist. This is a fun adventure teaching kids the scientific method. Again, Republicans aren't big on kids learning the scientific method, because when they do, they're less likely to fall for Republican lies about climate change and vaccines and so many other things. You can get the new book as well as the first one at davidpakman.com/book. This is part of the Adventures in Thinking series. Can you imagine that we're doing this? We are. davidpakman.com/book. 13,500 copies of the first book have sold. I'll bring you an update soon on sales for the second book. Think Like a Scientist, davidpakman.com/book.